Oyaga Mungu. Good evening to all of you. To all of you. Uh, okay. Who I am, ma? All my voice is laudable. Abi, my azebo near the wine urumia. Urumia wa. Is my voice loud enough? Okay. Well, what's it? Okay. Thank you. I have a lot to talk about today. So we need to mia and I go ye big so that I do one kind here boss you not tongue we will talk. What in here yeah one kind or we can't be boy ya wesi the first I think okay the thank you has to be in two folds. First I have to thank all of you for all the calls for the demise of my father. The demise of my father. I have to thank all of you for the calls and all of that. Wow, Wesley. We on national yata. National yata here where Oba Ozolua waiting and we be era magi wu now. I don't do why you very more with ma. My father was a man who completely understood what I am destined to become. So as a matter of fact, he has always, as his favorite child, he has always supported me, knowing fully well that I've chosen a path of bequeathed to me by our ancestors. So I was really very proud about what happened, about what I eventually now love, doing what I love doing. So some persons are now saying that Oba Ozolua, or with me and all of that. Well, as I Nata, how do I put it? Nata, where social media and all of that. I don't listen to side talks. I don't get distracted. I don't get distracted by that. I feel there are a bunch of distractions, and I'll just keep focusing on. It was pretty very young. It was not old. So that's why we are all sort of old in age. But my father wasn't. I think my father was just 20 when he had my first brother. So he died 61 actually. 61. So he died quite very young. So it was about 20. My dad was 20 when he had his first son. So my married who at our age, in our 30s. What to do? But generally, I don't want to dwell on all of that. It's past. I thank you all for all of those calls that I received. I've not, since that incident happened, I think I've not been online. I think yesterday I was on my historical voyage, and I just wanted to cover one or two places. Basically, that was all. But today I want to do a thank you to all of you people. I eventually traveled the following day after my father died. My father died on Wednesday, so I had to travel the following day to Lagos. My flight to Accra was scheduled for July 1st on Friday. So I go to Accra. I wasn't really myself, but I needed to travel because it was important. Sometimes the call, our duty to the land, it's our greatest duty as a person. So it was now, because unlike other of my previous travels, before now, our previous travels to all the places that we went through in the bid to unite all of the Benin descendants, His Royal Majesty was not aware, but he was very much aware of my visitation to Accra. So he wanted to see my capacity, having been told of all of the things that I've been doing for his kingdom all these years. So he was very much aware of our travel, and he has since been giving feedbacks and all of that. So it was to me, it was a responsibility I feel that the monarch has given me now to do, and I couldn't allow the problems or the pains or the grief period to dissuade me. It is always forward and never backward. So so we went there. It was successful, very, very successful as anticipated, but we want to take it to another level. We want to take it to another level. So we are taking it to another level. We are taking it to another level this time around. When I mean we're taking it to another level, is this. I'm happy to announce I'm happy to announce to everybody here that all our works for the past 6 years or so has taken another step higher. So, His Royal Majesty Oba is going to be receiving all great Benin descendants. He's going to be receiving all great Benin descendants during Igwe Festival. The Oba of Benin is going to be receiving all great Benin descendants during Igwe Festival. And as a matter of fact, up to 3 days will be set aside by the ordination of His Royal Majesty, and our ancestors will be set aside for us. Will be set aside for us. There are going to be other news that is going to be popping up. There are going to be other news that is going to be popping up, but know this year's Igwe Festival will be the biggest in the past 20-30 years. Just know this. As a matter of fact, mercenaries, jobs, I'm not going to mention what is going to happen, but our job starts this week in preparation for Igwe. In preparation for our own So we're going to be starting preparation for it. So you people will be seeing it. You want to have him and yeah, I will not want them to know any of my moves anymore. So, but you people will be seeing our moves effect from this week. So, like I said, it is only God and our ancestors that understand the genuinity of our struggle. It is only God and our ancestors that can crown our effort. It is only God and our ancestors who sees our patriotic desires, yearnings, all through these 5 to 6 years. It is only God and our ancestors that will continue to enable us to do things for our kingdom. I've always prayed one prayer, that when we eventually are being given responsibilities to solidify or concretize our good deeds for the kingdom all of these years, may we not be distracted, may we not be carried away. We've seen people who were originally great people, who because of the responsibilities, 1 or 2, 3 responsibilities are put in their hands, they became greedy, they became self-centered, they became callous in their doings. I continue to pray that the ancestors should guide me and continue to make me that guy who is not self-centered, who is not selfish, who is very patriotic, who is very selfless, who in the face of distraction will maintain his uprightness, his honesty, and his integrity. These are about, I tell people, these are about the things that I crave for. The honesty that that maketh an idle man, the uprightness, the integrity, the patriotism, the selflessness, these virtues that God and our ancestors continue to remind me every day that I should keep on to this virtue, because if I've learned anything from my father, these were the virtues. I'm very proud to say that I'm that son that my father trained very well. You know, I spent 7 years. For those who know me, who knows my background, I spent 7 years every day studying with my father. His favorite. Then when I was coming up, probably I was in JSS1. I remember there was a mathematical equation. I knew the shortcut to solve. I was about, how old would I have been in JSS1? JSS1, I would have been, JSS1, that was in 1999. I would have been, okay, so I know I'm on my age, I don't want to talk. So in JSS1, that was 1999, I had that argument with him. I remember he told me this, that Dad, I can actually solve this mathematics using the shortcut formula. He said, no. The best formulas are usually the long cut formulas, because you get the full mark. Because JSS1, I was already being prepared for my GC exams that I eventually wrote when I was in JSS3. I wrote my GC exam when I was in JSS3. So, he taught me something. I always believe in long cut. I don't believe that a man has to make money through dubious means. I always wait for my time. I always want to work hard for everything that I earn. I don't believe that anybody has to dash anybody anything. It is not right. You have to, I don't understand why people say grace and all of that, but I feel that a man should walk before he ends. I don't believe in the other way around, because that's what my father also believed. So these are about the things that I pray for every day. So I won't say that, all of that. So like I said, I'm not going to speak more on all the things that will happen this December. Alright? Before next 3 weeks to 1 month. Alright? A huge news is going to come. A huge news is going to come. As of now, only 5 persons are aware of it. Something huge is going to happen. Then December, something huger is going to happen. So in the next 3 weeks, you people should be expecting one news. You people should be expecting one news. That news will change Benin Kingdom for good. Because wrong things that has been perpetrated over the years will start being corrected. The things that a lot of things, I don't want to preempt anybody, a lot of things will start being corrected through what is going to happen. And it's going to happen real soon. In the next 3 weeks, you people will hear. Then by December, we're going to be having probably one of the biggest Igwe festival in the history of Benin history. In the history of Benin. So, something huge is coming, and it's coming from you and I. It's coming from you and I. You know, there are things I cannot speak of, but know that we are no longer talking from a standpoint of someone who does not know what goes on. We are not talking from a standpoint of authority. We are very close to the power. That I can assure you. That is done, that was enabled by the power of God and our ancestors. who will always continue to give thanks. Who will continue to give thanks. So I thank all of you. I want to make special thanks to everybody who contributed to my journey to Accra. Like I've always said, I task myself in the school of transparency. I task myself all the time in the school of transparency. I just want you guys to hold on a little bit. I have, alright, quite a lot of persons sent some money. I'm not going to mention names, but for the purpose of transparency, I'm just going to mention quite some of the amount that was sent. The very first person that sent money to me was on June 22nd. A lady, she sent 93,000. The second person sent 50,000. That was also on the 22nd. No, that was on 22nd of June. I'm not going to mention him. Okay, I might mention them. Some names up here I can't really recollect because quite a lot of persons did send money. On 22nd of June, someone sent 50,000. That sent 22nd of June. One Jennifer Okodua sent 62,000. Yeah, thank you very much. Credit. Another person sent Igugo Iziengbe. Sent 20,000. I received 50,000 again from Justus Osani Yeke. Alright? I'm just going to mention, I know Nini Wayare social media because a lot of persons they call that I should make their name anonymous. Another person sent 50,000, Edibo Joshua. I know her, I don't want to mention her name. Another person sent 100,000, yeah, through a company's name, Bugate International Enterprise. Another person sent 50,000, Emmanuel Omofo. Then one of our sisters, she sent she sent 112,000 to the GBD account that was remitted back to me. I know her very well. So she sent 112,000. That was on the 27th of June. Another person sent, okay, that one, he actually specifically told me, his own is very big. He actually specifically told me, he's a friend. I actually specifically told him never to mention his name or the amounts that he sent. So he warned me, so I think I should listen to him. Then another one sent Esusa Edigi, sent 40,000. I know her very well. I don't want to mention the other of her name. Then another person sent another amount, it's also quite big, and he actually also specifically told me not to mention his name. So the money was more than enough for us to get gift. Take another of our brother from Nigeria to Ghana and back, and we're able to also take care of our responsibilities over there. So thank all of you. So thank all of you for the money sent. I think another of our brother, let me not forget, said another of our brothers sent 20-something thousand again. Yes, sent 20-something, 26,000. I don't know whether it's a brother. He's here. He or she commented. I always Oh, you piano. So also send something. So I thank all of you. You guys are most amazing. The money was more than enough, and I'm so incredibly incredibly thankful. I'm so incredibly thankful for the gift. All right. No, pure one. When I was in Accra, something happened. I fell sick. So when I returned back to Nigeria, I was very sick. I've been sick for about 2 to 3 weeks. So I just got better a few days ago. So that's why I've not been online when I returned. So I had malaria. So I just got better. So a lot of things happened in this past 3 weeks to 1 month. But we are back to our feet again, and we're thankful. We are grateful to God Almighty and to our ancestors. So all the support has been very tremendous. All right, all the support has been huge. So we have 3 other things that we want to talk about. I'm going to quickly talk about Oba Ozolua because of the song that I've been playing repeatedly. I wanted some people did inquire some questions about that Oba Ozolua song, and probably I'm going to play the song again, narrated by Prince Charles Osadolo. Then I'm going to speak about that briefly, maybe 15-20 minutes. Then I'm going to speak on threats, some of the threats on my life, and some very greedy Edo people that gives you the mental picture that they are doing well, all right, but they will not rest until they say they will bring Ozolua down. These are not the Ogiamian people. These are even the people amongst us, all right. So they have been saying all sorts of lies against me recently, so that I'm making anyone. Well, I'm just going to talk in passing. I'm not going to mention their names. I would have loved to mention their names because why I love shaming people is because I just want people to know that those people you think that are good people to you, that are saying Oba Atokwe, that if they get to the palace, they will do worse. They will do far worse than these people that will criticize in the palace. I'm going to speak about them, that the greed that has consumed their heart. To them, they feel that when you fight for the palace of the Oba of Benin, you must be paid. That's what they believe. Now we're having fresh. That has that kind of mindset, and never again would we allow set of political cultural activists. Those political cultural activists, they will give you a mental picture of that. But so that some of them might even be here, so probably when they hear this, they will know that I'm referring to them. You know, Ozolua doesn't bloody care. That's the point. Ozolua doesn't bloody care. Anirunia Kasi. You understand? Ozolua doesn't bloody care. Why he doesn't bloody care is because don't name me. Don't name me. So I don't want to mention their names so that it doesn't. What we are trying to resolve, this social media saga and all of that. Neither Ozolua saga. So definitely I will not mention their names, just because I don't do saga. So, but I am beware of them. I am beware of them. They feel that they might not talk some certain things here. They feel that my recent growth, my recent recognition is based on one particular program that we had. But they forgot that Ozolua has been consistent in fighting. If Ozolua decide to go and sleep and rest, they will never be able to achieve what Ozolua have done for Benin Kingdom in the next 50 years. I can say that wholeheartedly. And everybody knows that everything I have done for these years is based on self-conviction. I have never one day, someone asked me a question 3 weeks ago. He said, in all of these things that you've done, did you at one point in time had asked to have an audience with the Oba of Benin? I said, no. I didn't ask for an audience. I've always believed that whatever I do, my name will speak for me. If you go and meet, I feel that someone who is good, who has diligently, without selfishness, be doing his duty meticulously, someday, somehow, will be recognized. I don't have to tell you that, this is what I've been doing. You will find me somehow, someday, because you've seen what I have been doing. That has always been my plan, and it's exactly what played out. It's exactly what played out by the power of God and our ancestors. But in order for me not to preempt, I'm pissed because sometimes people get me angry, but I have to just allow these things. But I've always tell people, you can hold Ozolua, you can hold me ransom for my character. Like, probably you might think that I'm proudful, probably you might think I'm arrogant, blah blah blah. But this is what you can never hold me for. You can never doubt my selflessness. You can never doubt my patriotism. You can never doubt the fact that in everything that I do, I have never had in the back of my mind, or in the front of my mind, or in the side of my mind, that I'll be paid to do it. Mozivoyo. And that's what I believe that every true Edo songs should be all about. You cannot be paid to defend the kingdom. It is your civic responsibility, it's your duty as an Edo man. It is. So, it is. So lastly, what we want to talk about will be Imoha. And December plans for GBD. Imoha. I talked about Ayimoha. We want to do something. This year. I want to recalibrate the minds of every Edo man that let us stop this mentality that palace gives. Let us recalibrate our mind and say that instead of collecting from the palace, like what people think, let us shock the palace this year by giving the Ayimo and Gegwa. And let it start that we started it. Let it be on record that we were talking on live video like this, and we came together and said that we want to do, this is our target for this year. So I'm just going to list out some of the target for this year, and I'm going to lead the way. I'm going to lead the way for that target. Every person should follow. So that let's shock the palace this year that Iviedo Nirowawe Norisi Mayimwa Gegwa Ukbona by December. We're going to shock the palace. So briefly, we'll talk about Oba Ozolua. You people have been listening to the song for quite some time now, and I want to draw a bit of 2, 3, 4, 5 things from that song. The first line that Prince Charles Osadolor said, the first line that he said was that I'm your one or you quo, I'm your one or you quo man or bumbo. Like nobody casually, nobody takes pleasure. You take pleasure in doing farm because it gives you food. Nobody takes pleasure in going to war like as if you are going to farm, except Ozolua, Niba or Miekon. So that means Ozolua's hobby was fighting war. Ozolua's hobby. It was his hobby, just like some people have hobby in watching football. Some people have hobby in cooking. Some people have the hobby of traveling. Oba Ozolua's hobby was war. Oba Ozolua's hobby was war. Okwo or Yirei. And we spoke about the story eventually. I'm not going to talk about, I'm just going to relate what he said in the song. I'm just going to summarize it so that people will understand. People will try to find out what the song was all about. Now, after that, he spoke about a bang. Now, that gave me a problem. I listened to that part for more than 25 times because I wanted to understand, because I have heard. He said, a bang no mobe. Nori wu. A bang no mobe, nori wu. First, I was saying a bang is a community. That's where the problem was. A bang is a community. Iwu is also a community. How can community be in another? It didn't make sense. But eventually I discovered that it was referring to a warlord. I have read about the warlord some time ago in one of the ESS book. His name is Egban. The name of that warlord was Egban. Now, the other part was Noriwu. Noriwu. So I was not saying that nicknamed, because in Benin, Wawe Noriwu, that is nickname, alias, that is also known as, but I was wrong, because when I listened further and I discovered that he was saying what he meant was that Iwu was a community that Egban hailed from. So it was Egban Noriwu. Egban whose own town is Iwu. Alright? Egban whose own town is Iwu. So the story was about Ozolua, the Oba of Benin, and another powerful warlord who hailed from a community called Iwu along the Benin-Lagos road. You understand? So, now the story went further to say that Egban had a sword, a war sword. You are not supposed to have that kind of a war sword, except the Oba guarantees you. So now, a lot of news fell to the ears of Ozolua that someone was going to raise a kind of an army against the throne or against the kingdom or the empire as it was then. So he sent first badge. He sent first badge to go and meet him, to ask him, so he told those badges, those emissaries. Excuse me. He told those emissaries that Opianin for Mozoni na me obien. Iya ya gbungbo na do yari rai bona bari ave. You know, the cutlass that a filler was heard that could create a recalcitrant force or an opposing force to the Oba of Benin. He was going to use that sword to sort of farm for the Edo people. Alright? During that conversation, his wife came out and told the emissaries of Oba Ozolua that, oh, you know, that the husband is lying, that the husband is having a mind to go to war with Oba Ozolua. You know, now okay bopia. Now okay bopia. No, don't worry. I will play the song again. Now okay bopia. So the story was that Anna game ano I inquire Oba Ozolua Oba Egban that umozo ave do we hon ba be do obe o umozoni iya ya gbugbo nedo yari na wari ave. In course of that, on high na la okay no nana hon ko no ro eko o we Ozolua ko okpan ya eva hin when Ozolua we mu egboku ahema ya hin ani oni e we do hon Ozolua. So on high na ifa when the cause of not realizing that his wife, a man's wife, has unveiled the true intent of his plan against Oba Ozolua. He killed 3 of the emissaries and allowed one to flee, to actually go and tell Ozolua that now listen, after that passage, he now went to tell another story that does not concern Egban. So he said that there is no community that Ozolua did not fight against. Any opposing community in Benin Kingdom that Ozolua did not take war to and defeated, except Idokpa. Idokpa it's a very small community. Idokpa is surrounded about 7 or 8 communities is surrounding Idokpa. It's a very small community. You understand? That he was not saying that Amamie Ewo no Ozolua Amamu Okwo Yahon around those territories as undefeated except Idokpa no we. Now, the question that I've always heard Edoya Zeri, I've always heard Ozolua Mameba Hen Dokpa no we. I've always heard that story. But I've always wanted to know why. Why is it that Omanomoko ye BB communities and annihilated them and dealt with them, then a small community it could not defeat them. But that was not the case. But that was not the real scenario of what it portrayed. And that war that Ozolua took to that region of Uhonde was against Isenoviu Tekom. So that is why in the passage of the song he was saying that Ise, when Isenya, when Ozolua is a parable, Isenya. These 2 people were rivalries. And don't forget, Ise was an Umada. He is regarded as the most powerful Umada in the history of Benin Kingdom. Ise is an Umada. Umado Ozolua and Umado Bano. You understand? Who hailed from Utekon. And don't forget that the distance between Dokpa and Utekon by trekking, they might not even be up to 3-4 hours. Dokpa is at the bypass and Utekon is also at the bypass. So I was trying to link Dokpa, Utekon and Iwu. Iwu is also at the bypass at Oluku. Towards the Oluku bypass after Obiogi. Now, I was trying to coin all of these linkages. If you look at it, these communities were at one straight end of the road, all at one. Okay, Iwu now is at Ovia. Iwu now is at present Ovia Northeast, but Utekon, Idokpa, they are to hold there. So he had to bring the story of Ise to say that Ise had a rivalry with Oba Ozolua that lasted for years. Because of that, when Ozolua was taking war to Utekon, all the neighboring communities around Utekon, before Utekon, he defeated and conquered all of them along the way. Because the time Ise had fortified all the communities around him and rallied them around himself to rebel against the king. Alright? So the only way out was Ozolua to go to each of these communities and conquer them one by one before getting to Utekon, where the final battle was. Now, get this clearly. The Hiname mentioned that what he was saying is that when Ozolua was fighting all of these communities one by one community that he did not defeat, you see, Dokba, and is one of the smallest, if not the smallest, amongst all of these many communities that Ozolua Mokogwe, on his way to Utekon because of his sect. Now, the reason was this: why he did not defeat, why he did not conquer Idokpa was this. When he got to Idokpa with an intention of conquering them, should in case there were any opposing forces there. They gave him water. They welcomed him and gave him water to drink. They gave him water. They welcomed him and gave him water. It means that community they gave him water, so he has no need or use to conquer Idokpa, because he was welcomed and he was given water. And when he drank the water, he felt that, oh, of all of these opposing forces, how come this is the only one that is not opposing? Instead, he blessed them. Instead of fighting them, he blessed them. Only if we talk ya do azere venyo ewuno Ozwala ama kon you talk so me dokba no we ewu nehere. Do you people get the do you get the gist now? Do you get the gist now?
Yes, my nails are pretty chance.
Well, understand the gist here. Okay. So know that the Dokba was very powerful. They weren't. They were a very small community. But because they had submitted to the forces of Oba Ozolua, and he has no use fighting a community that welcomed him and gave him water.
Yes, my nails.
That is the cruise of the matter. Sorry.
Osadolo, the Commissioner of Federal Music. I have a story song for you now.
You people can now understand now. Okay, you people have listened. The only part I didn't speak about was the final part where he said that after Igban had allowed one of the emissaries of Oba Ozolua to give him the message, Ozolua understood that Ozolua na CIA, he didn't talk about it. It was shocking, it was surprising. The Ozolua that we know will instantly declare war on you, but he decided to leave Igban Noriwu. He left him for 3 years. Oh nah, man, when I heard that part, I remember I posted something, Ozolua Noga. It's that part that thrilled me. Someone has declared war against Ozolua, who was famous to react to even the slightest offense. Decided not to speak on the matter for 3 good years. So Doiri, he didn't speak. He didn't tell Igban that he picked offense. Igban was prepared. Igban was ready, but he waited 6 months. Ozolua didn't go. 1 year, Ozolua didn't go. A year and 6 months, Ozolua didn't go. 2 years, Ozolua didn't go. If not time, he now eventually forgot about it. But you understand one thing about Ozolua. He was a very unforgiving. He was a very unforgiving king. He doesn't know how to forgive. He doesn't know how to forgive. So he didn't forgive. And then eventually he took war, and Igban Noriwu was eventually defeated, and every other thing. He talked about the year, he talked about the year Oba Ozolua was crowned and coronated. The year Oba Ozolua was crowned and coronated. So I'll just talk about that in passing. Okay, I'll just not talk about that anymore. Now I want to quickly speak on Imoha. I remember that there was one time I came online. I spoke about these tremendous blessings that comes with the so much blessings that comes with Nana Imoha Gyoba. But what I have that this year, that let's have another how do I put it, let's do something that will let's have a different thought. Again, I think I talked about this. Again, it's just like Christians paying tithe. I talked about it the other time. It's just like Christians paying tithe. But this year, we're going to be having a target. We're going to create a committee. we're going to create a committee. We're going to have a target. We're going to get a lot of cows. We're going to get a lot of yams, a lot of rice, a lot of stuffs, and that we are going to present on behalf of Edo people near Negbe. On behalf of Edo people near Negbe. On behalf of Edo people, we're going to be presenting all of these gifts to Omonoba during this Igwe here. And I can assure you that there's so much tremendous blessings that we are going to derive, that we're going to get. There's always a blessing from a father to his children, from his royal father to his children. So I want everybody to participate. I want everybody to participate. Now, I agree with you. It was why I was thrilled by it. It was an amazing war strategy. He decided not to speak about it and allow him to do whatever he was doing. So you have challenged your Oba. He didn't speak about it. He just allowed you be. Contrary to what he was known for. Responding to even the barest of all threats. Now I want to speak about things. Ozolua is not one of my favorite Obas. I've always said it. But I have now come to understand that Ozolua was in a situation as a king that every Oba, if they were in that situation, would have done the same. Failure to do the same would have left Benin into anarchy. At the time Ozolua became the Oba of Benin, they were already Republican warlords. They were already Republican warlords. When I mean not 1, not 2, not 10, not 20, not 30. Imagine 30 warlords telling a king that do. Just like this useless Arisco. Imagine the mess that they have caused. Imagine that there are 30 of Ariscos from different localities along the entire Benin Kingdom, all over Benin Kingdom, challenging the authority of the Oba of Benin. That's a typical example of what I'm talking about. Imagine that in this modern time when we're having this Arisco, now we are not having 30 of them, for example, now challenging the authority of the Oba of Benin. Imagine how it was at the time of Ozolua. So Ozolua had no choice. He needed to bring them to their knees, or otherwise he would not have had an empire to call his own. So, and that is why when it's just like the coach when my young signed. So, he inherited a lot of Wahala. I'm a Mayu fan. It's the same thing. Ozolua inherited a kingdom that was in a republican state for 2 years. That's what part of Benin history that was never talked about. There was no Oba for 2 years. The Benins had no Oba. There was a vacancy of 2 years between Olua and Ozolua. Although there was no king between when Otoriri Orue or Olua and before Ozolua ascended the throne. It took about 2 years. There was no king on the throne of the Benin people. So that was the apple time for these warlords who have created a niche for themselves, calling themselves Inekridi no Gbelaka was like Nyawanya Gbelaka. Oba Ate no Tawuwe Gwawa Nyanya Gbelaka. No, that's the same situations with Monsuria of Uwoton, the same thing of Egbai. They were just of Valtor. Or why now we had the side there with DC Dokpa Ariudao. Then Akenisi now we had we see, they became warlords surrounding Ozolua. So Ozolua had no choice historically other than to defeat them, other than to bring them to their knees. So it was a terrible situation. But Ozolua will always be Ozolua, and he was able to amend victoriously, just like Mavi Gwora Danasun. The only said. So I heard the mad woman that calls herself Norway human trafficking, which woman Oba what's her name? Not Mama Bench. She created a group called Igodo Descendant on Facebook. She has been sending a lot of private messages to different people on WhatsApp. She's a mad woman. I heard she did a voice note of about 9 minutes on Ozolua because Ozolua called her a human trafficker. She sent me a voice note threatening me that I will never know peace until I apologize to her. You know what makes me angry? You know what makes me angry? You know what makes me angry about these things? Their guts, their temerity. In the next 2 months, it will no longer be like that. We will no longer be condoning any of you. I assure you. I don't want to talk, but I can assure you, in the next 2 months, all of this talk will change. Will change our for now. You understand? In the shortest period of time, mechanisms, machineries are already on ground. We will no longer be tolerating riffraffs and destitutes like all these mama beds. Look at the temerity. That's this mad woman. Of you know get what? There's only one get Tamara Bagya. She's a mad woman. It's only one get Tamara that she's a mad woman. Also support Noru Selu by now. She's not saying that it's only one should come out and apologize. So apologize no it's only one apologize to you or that bloody criminal at your risk that is only one should apologize to you. When you bastards have been insulting the palace for the past 3 years, who did you apologize to? Anyway, let me not lose my temper. You know, let me stay calm. But I can assure you to not I shine. But in the next few months, they can do why and why do all of those things. We know them. When we say the conspiracy against the palace and people are saying that what is Ozolua, any of you that talks that nonsense, I've always been saying it. Whenever you foolishly come from the overseas that you are, Adiedo, I will show you evidence, video evidence, audio evidences of this co-conspirator. They are all in high places. We know them. We know them. We have their recordings. We have all of the things. Ozolua, with this nonsense. It will not happen. It will not happen in our time. It will not happen. In the next few months, anybody on 100 January or 100 US, not few will look for you wherever you are and beat you. You are a madness of highlight 2023. 2022 now ma cure man de no one. You had a temerity. She came to my inbox. She had a temerity. She came to my inbox and said that I will never know peace. Well, a red wine man, I enjoy my life to the fullest. And funny enough, even my own elder brother told me categorically that and people who are saying and listening to these destitutes, I didn't want to more. You know these destitutes. Ozolua de no wa. Everyone wa agbe Ozolua wa. O wa agbera. You dey know wa. Wa mi Ozolua agbe ohan wa. Then what have they been saying? I think they always saying that very useless set of people. There's another thing they keep telling me that that me am working me dad. What's in Navi if your back Oba's children, what's in here and I'm when I was war over your bammy. Why I didn't wear Giame, this mama best news or you need me. No Zaga Wagmo. Oh, you Giame when he went and when matter will Giame you were, you mad woman. Anyway, I just don't want to. Okay, they always feel that for the fact that they feel that why is there anything personal that this is Ozolua takes for crying out loud? No sane and no person who has genuinely and no blood flowing through his vein. We allow and we allow people to cast aspersion at the sacred institution that gives relevance to his very being, and not speak about it. I'm not neutral. After the victory that we had against all the conspiracy, state governments and all of that, some people who did not speak on the matter were not chatting me up. We are not saying, longest time. So when they even invited me to come and deliver a speech, you know, anybody who is neutral on any matter that concerns the palace, why? In short, I saw a lot of them were posting happy birthday to the royal quadruplet. Why the man? Don't wish you cannot don't anything that concerns the palace. Why you move? Don't put it on your page. Why you move? They were shouting happy birthday to the royal quadruplet the other day. Some of them went to the palace and were doing video to get views and get paid by Facebook or YouTube. But when the institution is being threatened by their friends in the other institution, I blocked a lot of them. I'll continue to block them. You can't be proud of an institution that you cannot defend. To me, it doesn't make sense. I'm proud of the Benin traditional institution, and that's why I defend it. I'm proud of it. You can't say you are proud of it and yet you can't defend it. So I find it very appalling. I find it very appalling. Very, very appalling. Very, very appalling that you are defending an institution, that you are praising an institution that you cannot defend. You understand? You are praising it, you cannot defend. You know? So, they are threatening my life. Okay. No wala. Anyway, there was a parable that Osopahara, Nugbagwe. There was a word the Benin called Oku. The war between Oba Ozolua and Osopahara of Ugbakwe. Osopahara of Ugbakwe said something that I will never forget. You don't threaten people with death. You don't threaten people with death. No. If you're not threatening Ozolua that you will kill him, that he will not see the next day, then let's assume, God forbid, that you succeeded. Does that change the fact that there will not be other Benin people who are going to speak against your lies, your fallacies? Does that change the fact that there are not going to be other persons that are going to spring out and speak about it? We don't know people who defended the throne of the Oba of Benin 1,000 years ago. We don't know people who defended the throne of the Oba of Benin 800 years ago. We don't know people who defended the throne of Benin 600 years ago. We don't know people who defended the throne of the Oba of Benin 300 years ago, 200 years ago, 100 years ago, and now. If Ozolua is no longer alive, were they not also going to be Edo people that will defend the throne? You people are clearly a minority. You are clearly the foolish, misguided ones. You are the one who is still threatening. And you know that your population in Benin here is less than 0.5%. Your population is very small. And you people are the one threatening. If we wanted to go violent on you people, we would have seen shut you guys up. Not that there are no mechanism to do that, but because we felt that it's a civilized world. There is no institution that is not being challenged by opposing, whether they are minorities. Even the British institution is still being challenged by some misguided views. So there are no institutions all over the world that are not being challenged by one person or the other who will feel that we are supposed to be there. It is the axiom of traditional institution. It's the axiom of royal institution. We understand that, but it has to be in the conduct of civility. It has to be in the conduct of civility. Not you bringing some assuming some barbaric statement just because you wanted to paint the institution bad so that you can have sentimental followers who does not know their left or their right. If you think that Amu Waido, do you think that you will insult the entire Edo people for you to claim your so-called Edo back? It is only fools. I've always told people, in the context of argument, it is only fools, those who are empty, resort to insult. You don't, except before I start insulting them. Otherwise, I bring facts. So, if you are clearly the minority, you guys are less than 1%, except for these some palace chief, no more hulu, the gang up against the one when we have all the evidences that we nick them. We have all of those evidences. So you understand? In Miami, we have our own shop. But the point is, you want to say you want to reclaim your Edo back. Then you're insulting everybody. Why not do it with civility? Why not bring facts? Why not bring evidence instead of going and bringing one barbaric fallacious statement to say this, to say that? Killing of people, public execution of people was stopped in Britain in 1858. In 1858, Nediama. So the point I want to raise here is that, and people, some useless people will support them without verifying the story, giving you a mental picture that all that is royalty is bad. But the same people who are saying that all that is royalty is bad, and they worship the royalty of other people in overseas. And the Benin man will now say that, what is the function of royal institution? That those states said. That was worrying out. But the royal institution, I have the royal institution going to Italy. Where you do more boat up, but when I go down, is that not foolishness? Wow. Very soon. It is no longer long. So, anyway, those are the truth. But this year, like I was saying, Ogimoa, I want us to put it in our mind. We're gonna start it very soon. If not, we should starting it now because there's no time. This is month of July. December is not too far away. We have a lot of activities for December. So, but I just want us to have it in the back of our mind is that at least what I have in mind is that at least there Mila, Igbe, 10 cows, like 500 tubers of yam, 100 bags of rice, 10 cows, 500 tubers of yam, 100 bags of rice, oil, granite oil, red oil, will all collectively. So how we're going to do it, probably in our next live video we're going to speak about it very. I want us to be getting blessings. A blessings are in there. I want us to be getting blessings from the palace now. We'll have to now ye more, dear more, dear gua. It is by the goodwill of the Edo people that solidifies the palace. Not a lot of people now think that you go and take from the palace. In the old, we give to the palace. That's how we are built. So what we'll have to do is that this year, me, I've my own way is that of the 10 cows that I'm suggesting that we buy, this is nobody should send anybody money. Nobody is going to send anybody money. We're going to probably make a structural arrangement. For those who can buy bags of rice, we'll buy. For those who can buy 2 bags of yam, we'll buy. So we'll now have a place around November and we are going to assemble all of these foodstuffs at, including cow. But for me, I'm going to buy 1 cow. You know, I'm going to buy 1 cow. So for those who cannot buy 1 cow, do I you pay. Alright? When you have money, national already adore you also that like I said, December I'm boy do you mind with. Let us surprise the monarch. Please let us surprise the monarch. Let's do the super ordinary, something that is not ordinary. It was ordinary in the old. It's not ordinary in this time. It was something that the Benin people used to do that we no longer do. All right, let Benin people do. Let we, our generations, this youth, let us do something. Let people, like I always believe, people expect that. See, we can do pairing, like I said. You don't have to. I paid for 2 cows. For my father's burial, I paid for 2 cows last 2 weeks. Last 2 weeks. I got it for 630. You can actually get a cow for 200, 250. Or mark ball of weight, but Otis in December and when you are cooking to not be very big. So our target is that between 19 August and July, if we are able to buy cow of 200, 250 per one, when you are cooking 3 months, it becomes very big. That's the secret they say they use. So instead of waiting again, if you buy a cow of 200,000 now, 250, by that December it will be worth 350 or 400. That's what I was told. So what you naturally will just do now, I do it all. But this one is like you pair. Whoever wants to buy cow will pair. If you feel the money might be too big for you to church, you can have someone you pair with. Nobody should send anybody any money. Alright? Whoever will not choose a place where we are going to buy the cow from. So we'll display the phone number here. We're going to display the phone number here. So you can call the mala and send the money direct to the mala. You just tell me, I want to confirm the payment. So nobody should send anybody money. If you want to buy a bag of rice, we buy bag of rice, and I will not say by November everybody will not come and bring it out of your company. I don't need trailer. Yeah, silly area one day. We're going to cover it. We might even rent ITV, beers, and all of that to cover it. Let's go and present it to Omo. Let's go and present it to Omo that if you show, my visual, if you wanna help you, bona, if my bona swan, if my higher upono, my if we can start it collectively, then from next stage, you not be individual based. You don't have to use group. You don't. It's not a group thing. It's your we're saying no, but we can do it for a start as a group thing. From next year, you now know that it is what is expected as a through education. Through education. No. What I mean, send money, please. You know, you will not understand. There are things nobody should collect money for. It breeds transparency. Alright, I will just, by next week I probably will get a mala and you can speak with him. I will speak with him. I'll have a conversation with him that when person call you, I think you will not code. I say once they tell you that one, you will not say they want buy cow now for our group. So you send the money direct and I will now verify it. AI learner, they are honest people. Alright, or another in your ear do not here in Melu, you know, but it shouldn't be on the high side. You know, we can have the number and people can begin to pay instrumentally. It could be 100, it could be 50, and before you know, gradually you pay. But I'm going to buy one cow as God and ancestors bless me more. I'll also buy bags of rice and yams and all of that. You have your buy. So, but we will not collectively present it. So, we might have never be more. I will near buy. I will submit it in you know. I don't go to church. I don't pay tithe. I don't pay offering. The tithe and offering that is recognized by my tradition is Imoha. And I should, as a Benin man, ensure that every year, I should, as a Benin man, ensure that I do that. I should, as a Benin man, teach my children that it's an aspect, a very integral aspect of our culture, of our existence. Alright? Alright? So, as a matter of fact, I should be able to teach my children. It's an aspect of our cultural values as an Edoma. It's not Oba Ozolua or Lamogu Latose. There are other cultural values that we need to start. You know, it's Ozolua. We want a society that in the modern era that still appreciates the cultural values of our Edoma. Let other people begin to be civilized with the foreign ideas. But let's while we are growing, let us still maintain the core values of our culture and tradition. And Imoana Yayagwa is one very integral aspect of it that we should start looking forward to. Even a lot of chiefs do no longer do that. A lot of Ohen no longer does that. But let us teach them that Baba when mo get yo. Let us teach them. Since Yamayi na you do Gimana no him na you do you know any career again my mouth. People should not get me wrong. I'm not saying that I know more than the elders. I haven't said that. I'm just saying that I know from what I have read that it was one vital aspect of our life. If people, for whatever reasons, because they feel they not go to church and all of that, that they feel that the palace is a money-making machine. Palace is not partisan. Palace does not get involved in politics. You understand? If some people are still doing what they are doing to Palace, assuming Palace was not partisan. You know, let us grow the Palace together. Let us favor the Palace together, and let the Palace also bless us. And these blessings are huge. Some Christians believe if they don't pay tithe, doors will never open for them. Ozolua also believe that we should also be paying Imoha, so that doors will also open for us. You understand? So please, I want it this December. We go by December 1st. You understand? Don't worry to present it directly to Omo, not to any chief. I'm telling you, it will be presented directly to Omo while we get a live video. Why worry Yoni? Sanu doesn't really count warning it. Have a live video, will be presented directly to Omo, and we will not tell them in there that Imoha was is a vital aspect of our cultural values, and we want, as young as we are, we want to use this opportunity to open the eyes of every Edo man that if no heke now get guano at least once in a year. You know, God said. So I'm just suggesting cow. No one is saying it has to be cow. There's something tangible that you feel that if I were you do it. You do it. Abe erumba oswiliya. Ugbenso emi so na ave no ave wu no ba eru no kana no do se. Ye hagi neru uwi buena ye hagi neru na be ni cow. Or you will stress on it that kei ne ivye doriri aje no ni cow ya kill them. That's a powerful prayer. Gifts. No, in that lecture, remember I told you about how story Imoha. Now you get Guawe, know there has a spiritual meaning, how they were tied to destinies of later Obas of Benin. I told you that the day that the spirituality of Imoha. I explained it the other day when I spoke about Imoha. I said the day near Mwemi Giade Gwa Ebonau Naya Biazoti Imohani na Viore Neboni Deye wa Viore was very mita. So Eboni aye abiomoni anawe omoni oha na heda me na emani yi moani. So there's always a spiritual connection between Moa na ya gegwa e de na we Moa pa upame na wa ona filo na ro eyes water fell ana omona na ari ebona bie oga honko sera, and that was why in reality Ozolua fought more war than Oba. Let nobody deceive you. Ozolua ahari teme esho webwa no wegbe Ozolua aya with time aya we me so because Ozolua was ruthless as an Oba. Imohani spiritually accumulated to what Ozolua eventually became. So we should not dispel the significance of Imoha to the lives of every Edo man and woman. Please, now get down. The gift that you give to the palace, I tell you more. I tell a gift. Exactly, Kelly, Joseph. So that's what. So please let everybody take it serious. Your 100,000, your 200,000, your 50,000, you pay. Nibunwa or Sewahi. You might not necessarily be a friend here on this social media. You have friends. You have friends in your city, in the places that you are. Get 50 euro, 100 euro, why we it will be enough for one cow. Why the one cow? Why we this donated one cow. Then on the day of presentation, every name, this will not be done in anonymous. No. So that you do not receive an anonymous blessing this will not be done in an anonymous way, so that when you receive the anonymous blessing they are cut. So your name must be boldly written so that you can receive the blessings from the palace according to the name that will be read. I can assure you. So please, like I've said, this is what I want us to do. Let us start putting it in the back of our mind, in the front of our mind, and let us start making earnest preparation towards what I have just talked about. More is very, very important for us as a dual sons and daughters. So, no, now, of course, now, our brother, obviously, you didn't see what Prince Charles said. I knew one, no, you quote na you go, Oba Ozolua. Oba wife fought calculated wars. Oba wife fought wars that now Ozolua wakes up in the morning. That's his hobby. He didn't do anything as the Oba Bini. Nanamu community wahalare. He sure Awe have Oga boys community. He was not interested in that. He was only interested in going to. It was his hobby. Live video. That's my hobby. You don't know total for 5 hours. That's your hobby. You understand? If I show waro, sigane. That's their hobby. That was who Ozolua was. Ozolua mamio 1 week. His body will not be alright. His body will not be alright. So he was too warlike. So he fought more wars than ever. It's just that for the fact that the Benins wanted to ensure that nobody surpasses EY. Ozolua fought more wars than EY, Iraq. But for the fact that the Benins wanted to hide, a lot of things that Ozolua did were not made. Now look at it. Look at their 2 nicknames. Their 2 nicknames will reveal the context. EY was a visionary. He had the nickname Ogidigan, the Great. He was great. But Ozolua own was very specific. Greatness is an all-round idea. EY was very mystic. He was a war king. He had policies. He created policies. He constructed a beautiful city. He was an all-rounder. But Ozolua didn't possess all of these mental agility that his father possessed. He only had one thought, and that was war. So that's why he was nicknamed Nibao Miekon, the conqueror. Well, that was about the problem. That's why it isn't. See, but Princess Osamudi, I understand that some of the wars were not wars to be proud of, but he was in a situation. You didn't hear. Probably you are just coming when I said. Ozolua had 30 of Me na wa risk ye. Iviedo that was fighting to obliterate the throne. The Wedo, they were Iviedo yawahi. Iviedo yawahi. Yawahi. But they were Ilma Gadiagwa. They wanted to create their own dukedom, their own kingdom. So he was compelled to fight his own people. Yes, he did. Many my wife pepa alare guys na if you don't hear by the amare pa le yahune erere orin ani ne no mari gba ni de gbe gba. It doesn't change their beginning that he area do. You don't hear. But to move down the worst of the worst if you don't hear. So Ozolua needed to bring them their senses back to where it is. So the only way the language they could understand was war. And he gave a lot of it to them. So before now I used to blame him. But now I can no longer blame him. Looking at what these Ariscos are doing. Imagine if this Arisco was in the time of Ozolua. Izadu was said it. One more. I know some of you are on the live in the work. Even turning work properly. If Arisco was in the time of Ozolua, it will be true. Because you people are not hiding under the modernity and civilization. Only so when and that's why all of these idiots are seen hale and hardy. So, Oba Ozolua, the ancestor provided Ozolua to the Benin kingdom because he would have been the only king that would have been able to survive the conspiracy against the throne. And he did survive it. If it was a coup d'etat by Sige, no VA, or why Oba, they would have outrun the kingdom. They would have messed up the kingdom for him. Because Sige was a man of peace. Ozolua was the liquid metal, the Daboski king. Was it Daboski king? Was a solid metal and liquid metal. You know. So anyway, I think I spoke for 2 hours or so. You understand? So anyway, I thank all of you. We are rounding up now, so I appreciate all of you for spending quite a lot of time with me today. And I appreciate Osade Bawa. So we'll hopefully by next week Sunday we'll discuss more. But I want us to have it in back of mind that we must do it this year, whether we like it or not. And like I've said, our target must be at least 10 cows. 10. Our target must be at least 10 cows, and preparation should start immediately. Must start immediately. So don't be waiting till November where a lot of the worry for family, but we have to do it. Let's surprise His Royal Majesty. Let's surprise His Royal Majesty. Then along the line we'll have other preparations that I will speak about later. I'll speak about them much later, maybe towards next month. We are having other preparations. All I can assure you, 2 to 3 days. Egwagari nima mpona nado ya bogu ugie nado ya bogu sort of we are envisaging sort of a carnival, a royal carnival where things are under the pipeline. Let me not preempt any person for now, but a lot of things will happen. A lot of things will happen this year by the power of God and our ancestors. Okay. A lot of things will happen this year by the power of God and our ancestors. A lot of things will happen this year. So, why I would say, so a lot of things will happen. We're making preparations, and yeah, His Majesty, we're going to be having one of the biggest Igwe. Yeah, so I'll speak with you people very soon, and why I was so, Oba talk about it.